Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. I'm going to call this meeting to order at 7 o'clock, and our pledge will be led by, hopefully, our new member, Trinity DeBreau.
Please stand. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first item on the agenda is voting on the agenda. I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda as it is written. Miriam Plotkin and seconded by, okay, Jessica. We have bills and like everybody else, and we're economizing. We come up with the idea of making our newsletter, which I hope you all get and you all enjoy very much because it's excellently written, via email. If you have any questions, please see me and we will make arrangements. But from now on, the newsletter will be solely 100% emailed. Katie, how are we doing on 50/50? We probably have a lot of 50/50 tickets to sell, so please see that we will split the pot. Oh, also we have, Lisa, do we have a book that you were going to give us to raffle off? Lisa?
I'm sorry.
Didn't we have a book that you were going to?
I gave it to Brenda.
Okay, Brenda's got it. So we will be raffling off a book as well.
I can show you a different one, but
Maybe it's under my stuff.
I think she gave it to you.
I thought she gave it to me too.
Yeah.
We will have a book about mental health that we will also be raffling off. Yes, so there will be two winners tonight. Two winners tonight. So our next speaker is going to be Meryl Perry, who's going to talk to us about Flag Day. And now she's not here. When can I speak?
She told me I was on the so I sat there.
Hi. We are trying to grow our membership, and so one of the ways we're going to do it is when you bring a guest to a meeting, you're going to win a prize, and we will pass it out to you, okay? Now, it's not going to be $50 or $60 or anything like that, but it's a nice little thank you, okay? So what I want to do is to please implore you to participate in the Flag Day parade that we always are in. I want to have at least 20 to 25 people, not just candidates, but I want club members and friends to be in the parade. The parade happens to be on, June 3rd. We're not sure of what time it starts just yet, but we are in it every single year. We are going to have a poster party at my house this Sunday at 2 p.m. because we're going to be making new posters. So we want everybody to come. Miriam and Janet are over there passing around sheets for sign up. Don't twist their arms too hard, okay?
And they're also in the back.
Oh, there's also some in the back there too. So thank you, and please come to the parade. And next meeting, start bringing some friends because you're gonna like the goodies.
I have actually one.
Pardon?
I have actually one more thing to say.
Thank you, Meryl.
Next one is Tia again.
Sorry, I forgot. Thank you, ma'am. I forgot to tell you. With all of the changes that are going on right now in our political scene, it seems like everybody is scrambling all around. If you've always thought of running for office, this is a great time to run for your local planning board or school board. Please don't run for, something that you can't win. Don't make calling parents' job harder or Akila Weber's job harder. every year we have people that you know, and it's great that we have people that are interested, but we don't need 15 people running for every seat anymore. And it would be great if we would just have every seat that is going to be vacated has at least one good Democrat already running, if not two. So this is a great time to build our bench at like the planning board level, rather than, you know, running for Senate. And I know it's a dream of all of ours, but we got to start small. So, and tonight, for example, Seth Smith is here. He, as you remember, last year was running in Lemon Grove for city council. When he discovered there were more people than there were empty seats, he dropped out. And that's how Allison Snow and Jennifer Mendoza won. So there's something to be said for, you know, waiting your time and maybe figuring out when the time is right. But I can tell you right now that all of the spots that we're going to fill next year already have at least one done running. So keep that in mind. But our planning boards and our small water boards and things like that always need people. So think about that. We would love to see our bench get a little stronger in East County. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Lisa, who's going to lead tonight's program.
Oh, Brenda first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Brenda's going to introduce you. Sorry.
Good evening, everyone. This is such an exciting topic for me. I'm a registered nurse. I work at Palomar, and I'm telling you, this mental health issue is a major issue. We get patients constantly. We have 4 rooms that we put mental health patients in, and they're glass doors, and we have to watch these patients. Sometimes we don't have any place to place these patients, and they can stay in those rooms, glass rooms. They're just almost like a 6x6 room, like 24, 36, 48 hours. And it is, it's challenging. And we're seeing them as young as 11, 12, 13 years old. So this is a topic that is dear to my heart, and I'm so happy to have the Recovery International here tonight. Presenter here is Lisa Garcia. She's brought with her Julie Blake, and she's also brought Nancy Campbell. So let me tell you a little bit about them. Lisa has worked with the Recovery International for over 25 years in different capacities. She is now the project manager and oversees the San Diego office. Lisa leads peer support meetings online via Zoom and in person in San Diego County houses, dual diagnosis programs, and veteran programs. She develops and launches the Recovery International with Faith training programs in partnership with Catholic Diocese and Temples
Temple Emmanuel.
Emmanuel, okay, of which she is a member. Lisa is active with many mental health organizations in San Diego, including the Suicide Prevention Council, the Community Alliance for Healthy Minds, and the Coalitions for Mental Health. Judy's background, there she is, Judy Blake, has been an active member of Recovery International for over 20 years. Judy serves on the board of directors, is chair of the program committee, is a Recovery International group leader, and is the San Diego area Recovery International treasurer.
She's on the board of our international organizations. It's a privilege to have her here.
Fantastic. Regarding her own recovery, she states, I suffered from anxiety, depression, and panic attacks for many years. Today, I combine the Recovery International method along with meditation, yoga, and a healthy diet to maintain my mental health. Because I now have my mental health I can lead a peaceful and productive life and give back to the Recovery International community. Thank you, Judy. Nancy Campbell. Nancy has been in Recovery International for over 50 years. Woo-hoo! She serves as a group leader for 35 years and also served as an area leader in San Diego on national committees. Nancy credits Recovery International for giving her a new way of looking at life, helping her to overcome anxiety, feeling of hopelessness, and suicidal ideations. Over the years, Nancy has used the tools of recovery to maintain her well-being during medical and financial challenges and the death of a loved one. Of Recovery International, Nancy says, I have a full, rich life, and I am grateful for the many wonderful friends I have made along the way. Welcome, ladies. We look forward to you.
Are you going to change the slide when I say change the slide, or do I have a clicker, or you want me to stay? Okay, so what do I have to do here? I have to just
I think it's just
go here?
Come here and
Okay.
press the arrows down.
Yeah, do you want somebody to do that?
Somebody get,
Somebody to do that?
Yeah, that would be good so we could
I'll
stand
be
up there.
glad to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can push a button.
You know something, I don't want to go in front of you. Are you recording now?
yes. Just,
I think I'll stand
Hey,
there.
whatever works.
I could sit down. Okay, so let's just sit down here, I think is a better idea, so we can see the slides, okay? And then we'll stand up when it's our turn. Okay, that's what we'll do, we'll sit here.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you do that.
Okay.
Is this on? Yeah, good. Okay, so first of all, I want to thank you all for being here to hear us speak. I am a member of the Democratic La Mesa Club, but I'm also a member of Recovery International. Thank you for your kind words of my bio, Brenda. Tina, thank you very much for this opportunity as well. Next slide. So here, Judy, it's yours.
So good evening. We're going to give you just a brief overview of Recovery International. So Recovery International is a nonprofit organization that is dedicated to helping people lead more peaceful and productive lives. And how that happens is we train individuals to identify and manage negative thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and behaviors that can lead to emotional distress and physical symptoms. Thank you. So we have a slide here that gives a little description of ourselves before and after recovery. So myself, I've been in Recovery International for over 20 years, and before I came into Recovery International, I would describe myself as having anxiety, depression, and panic attacks. And after practicing and being in Recovery International, I would say I am calm, productive, and serene. Okay, I think Lisa, you're next.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah. So before recovery, I suffered from depression, angry outbursts, and hospitalization. Now, after is the good thing. With recovery, I'm engaging, peaceful, and I'm very funny. Humorous. Okay, next slide is Nancy, okay?
Before recovery,
Wait, you have to hold it like this.
I know.
Okay, good.
I just forgot. Okay, before recovery, I suffered from anxiety, helplessness, and suicidal ideation. And after, I'm relaxed, optimistic, and some people say I'm wise.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, about Recovery International. So this is our founder, Dr. Abraham Lowe. It was founded in 1937. He was a neuropsychiatrist. And our method is a peer-led self-help model and the foundation of cognitive behavioral therapy. And he really believed that there was no hopeless cases and that we could all get well. Next slide. So the target populations that we serve, are anybody that has stress, anxiety, helplessness, anger, fear, or panic. And it's a complement to the professional. We don't take the place of the therapist, but we complement the psychiatrist or the therapist or the clinician. Some people don't see a therapist that come to our meetings. We're court mandated as well. And so those are some of the populations. For the professionals that are here, as I just said, it's an adjunct to professional care, reassurance, fellowship, and hope, and it's a safe place to express feelings. Safe place to express feelings without being judged. We support an acceptance that what might be lacking at home, work, or school, and opportunities to learn and practice coping skills, and encouragement to keep trying. And it's the tools that come from his writings that we will demonstrate for you all. Next slide. Okay, Jude.
So we have meetings on a lot of different formats. We have in-person meetings, we have Zoom meetings, we have chat meetings, we have a closed Facebook page. We do pass a basket, and donations are accepted, but no one is ever turned away because of inability to pay. And you can just join a Recovery International meeting at any time. You don't have to get vetted into our program. You don't have to be referred to our program. Our program is open to the public, and like I mentioned, you can just go to our website and you can find a list of all of our meetings that are available. Because of COVID, we closed all of our community meetings, and since then, a few have opened up, and there's actually 2 in San Diego that are open right now. One is nearby at Temple Emmanuel near San Diego State College, and the other one is on Thursday nights at the foot of Mount Soledad, and I believe it's a Presbyterian church. So we have schedules here provided if you're interested. Next slide. So we're peer-led meetings, which means that all of us have utilized the program. So our meetings are safe space for people to receive guidance, fellowship, and acceptance, and support from others with similar issues. By attending meetings, we learn how to use cognitive behavioral tools to manage our stressors and symptoms of everyday life. So you don't actually need to have a mental health diagnosis to attend our meetings. People come to our meetings that maybe have some trouble with anger or excessive worry or maybe some problems sleeping. We don't even need to talk about our diagnosis, whether we have one or not, during our meetings. Everything that you share is voluntary. Okay, next slide. So the main concept. So when you come to our meetings, you'll find that our meetings are very structured, and we always follow the same format, no matter if you go to a meeting here in San Diego, one in Chicago, another one in New York, Florida, on the phone, on Zoom. They're always the same, and we follow a format. So just to give you a little background, we have a 4-step method of where we give an example of how we practiced our recovery method. And this is a reliable technique to train people to look at their situations objectively, so we can reduce our symptoms, recognize we have options, and make more skillful decisions. Next slide for us. So in recovery meetings, because it's a peer-led program, we only talk about trivial events that happen in everyday life. This was something that Dr. Lowe was very adamant about. If you want stirring excitement and thrills, don't come to a recovery meeting. Because we only talk about everyday trivial things. We're peers, and what we're doing is we're learning the cognitive behavioral tools that help strengthen our nervous system. So even if it's a small event, you're still working on reducing your symptoms and getting help. So we stay away from things like death, religion, politics, sorry to say, sex.
In our meetings, wait, let me just say that. In our meetings, that doesn't mean what we do out of our meetings.
That's right. So we talk about trivial things, like maybe you're going to a very important appointment and you get a flat tire. Maybe you get stuck in traffic, or you miss your bus, or you miss getting a report due at work. And maybe you want to give an example or give about a triviality such as inconsiderate people or frequent annoyances. You know, a lot of us live with maybe a spouse or a significant other, and you know, there's always those day-to-day irritations that come up. So recovery method really does work on helping you reduce your symptoms, and then you find that things don't bother you like they used to. It works, the more you practice it, the more intuitive your practice becomes, and it's just becomes part of your thinking, and you find things don't bother you as much. So like when you get up in the morning, you go in the kitchen, and the sink is full of dishes because nobody did the dishes the night before you. It doesn't have the same effect as before. So we do talk a lot about temper in our meetings. Again, Dr. Lowe started this method, and he boiled it down to some very simple concepts. And he talks about angry and fearful tempers. And those tempers almost could be the root of how some of your mental or physical distress is happening. So we learn in recovery that angry temper is always projected outside of us, at other people, events, and we get into angry temper because we're judging others as being wrong. And then we have fearful temper, and that's judgment that we've done something wrong, so that we have things like worry, feeling of inadequacy, hopelessness. We talk about our damage to our reputation, or we call it the damage to our social personality. Like you go to a party and then you come home and go, oh my gosh, why did I say that? Or, well, you know, I wore the wrong outfit. Everybody was dressed up and I'm in jeans. Okay, next slide. So then we also, so the temper comes from a judgment. So you're either judging yourself as being wrong, and that's angry temper, or if you judge yourself as being wrong, that's fearful temper. And we have what we call the cognitive behavioral tools or spots that we apply in the different situations. So like before, you might think, oh, he is always running late and ruining my night. And then after, when you get recovery training, you think, we excuse rather than accuse ourselves or others, and this helps us calm down and enjoy our evening. We're not trying to make people into doormats or take away any of your personality or anything. It's just trying to reduce your symptoms so you can communicate more effectively and have inner peace. So you might think, she cut me off on the expressway, I'm gonna chase her down. And then you think, oh, every act of self-control leads to a sense of self-respect. So you don't step on the gas and start following that person. The driver left my package in the rain. The box is all soggy. Well, you could call up UPS or whomever and, you know, lay into them with your temper. Or you could think temper helps us from seeing the other side of the story. Maybe the driver is on a schedule and that's what their company policy is to leave packages. So you kind of can get an idea. We have to drop judgments and it calms us down. So next slide. There's, boom. There's Judge Judy right there. Okay, and then the other concept you'll hear us talk about in our meetings are the environment. So we break things down very simple again into outer environment is everything outside of our skin that we cannot control, like people, events, the past, and the future. And then the inner environment is everything that happens inside of our skin. And there's things inside of us that we cannot control, like our sensations and feelings. Like you can't just tell yourself, stop blushing, or, you know, stop racing heart, please stop racing. But you can control your thoughts and impulses, and when you do that, your feelings and sensations fall in line. So it all starts with your thoughts, your thought control, and your muscular control. And the next slide. So just remember about the inner environment. We can't control our feelings or sensations, but we can learn to change our thoughts and control our impulses. And when we do that, we influence our feelings and sensations. Thank you. Okay, this is Lisa.
So one of the biggest concepts that Dr. Lowe came up with was the word endorsing. And the human being is really good at saying, I didn't do a good job. And so in our method, we learn to endorse for whatever we did do. So let's all take a minute for coming to the Democratic Club today and endorse, as she is right now, right? And the first time I came to a meeting, I thought, they're tapping the that's gonna work? And it does. Because we're really good at saying should've, could've, would've, but if we can endorse for something we did well, then we learned that one endorsement is worth thousands of endorsements from the outer environment. When you're endorsing yourself, you can't be blaming yourself. What did I do well? You endorse yourself when I control my speech muscles. So before recovery, whatever I thought, I said. And when we can control our speech muscles, we have nothing to regret. We endorse ourselves for controlling those impulses. Texting, somebody texts you something and I want to be right, I'll text them right back. And we can endorse ourselves for the effort, not only for the performances. So that's a really important part of our method. Next slide.
I like that at the bottom, Judy.
Oh, learning to praise ourselves rather than depending on praise from others builds self-control and self-respect. So I can't wait for Brenda to come up to me and say, Lisa, you did a good job tonight doing a panel presentation. I have to say, I'm endorsing for setting everything up, getting everything organized, having recoveryites here with us, you know, and making sure we're here to do this panel. All the emails that went back and forth. Even if let's just say the computer didn't work, we still endorse for the will to effort, not the will to comfort.
Can't wait to hug you.
I can't wait to hug you too. Okay, next time. So we're going to demonstrate what happens in the meeting, and you all have a paper on the table, but all the information that Judy talked about, the outer and inner environment, that you can look at later, but that single paper that's on the table is is up there too, yes. And so yes, exactly. And so we're going to do what we call the 4-step method, or the method that Dr. Lowe came up with. You can look at this way, or you can look on the paper that way. Okay, and then you're going to read the 4 steps. Right, okay. Come here. I don't think it reads that far. Here, let's stand. Okay, so and you're going to give an example. So remember, just to highlight, can everybody still hear me? Yeah, good. So remember, we're going to give an example on triviality, so I'm just rephrasing it as well. Okay, everybody has one of those papers? Everybody? Okay, good. All right. All right, and you can see it up there. Okay, Nancy. So we're going to read step 1, and the way it works is Nancy will read step 1. There's always a leader, a giver, and a person that gives an example. Okay, so can we have the reading of step 1, please?
Yes. Report a single situation or event that occurred, an everyday event when you began to work yourself up. Focus on a brief description of what happened specifically, what triggered temper and symptoms.
Okay, this happened about a week ago, and I went to retrieve some important papers, and when I looked for them, they weren't where I thought they were going to be, and that's when I got worked up.
Okay, and as you see, she's not giving a whole story. I started to look for them. Where could they be? It's just plain and simple. She went to look for some papers, and they weren't there. Step 2, please.
Report the symptoms you experience, both physical and mental. For instance, angry and fearful thoughts, confusion, palpitations, disturbing impulses, tightness in your chest, lowered feelings, sweaty palms, and so on.
Okay, well, all of the above. No, okay, so I had kind of a rising feeling. I could feel myself getting kind of sweaty, hot. I felt tense, and I felt like my eyes, you know, kind of bulged a little, and I got racing thoughts, which were, I put these important papers right here. Now they're gone. What am I going to do? I really need those papers. This is going to be a disaster. There's other people that are relying on me to have these papers. Then I had thoughts such as, I think my husband moved them and didn't tell me where he put them. And then I had some confused thoughts about I needed to leave for work, and I had kind of an impulse just to stay and keep looking and looking for the papers.
So in step 2, as you saw what Judy reported, was her mental symptoms, physical symptoms, and any disturbing impulses. Okay, step 3, please.
Report your spotting of fearful.
Let me hold it.
Okay.
You talk.
Report your spotting of fearful and angry temper, the Recovery International tools that you use to help yourself, and your self-endorsement for your effort.
Okay, so I did spot that I was getting myself in temper, and so I spotted that to know is not to know, where they, if they were moved or not, that I had imagination on fire about thinking my husband moved them. I could decide, plan, and act about how I was going to continue looking for them. I could be the patient and decide to go ahead and go to work and just wait till 8 hours later when I came home to look for them. I spotted that it was distressing not to see them, but it was not dangerous, and that I was making judgments against myself and others, and that was keeping me in symptoms, so I decided to drop the judgment for my own mental health.
There's one little thing that you forgot.
Oh, and then of course I did this like the lady in the picture.
So you did endorse,
I
right?
did, yes.
Okay, good. All right. I'll hold it.
Okay. Begin with before I had my recovery training, and describe the temperamental reaction and symptoms you would have experienced in former days. What would have happened then versus what happened now? This will help you to note the progress you have made.
Okay, so in former days, I may have stayed home. I mean, just kept looking and then been late to work. Or I also had, I didn't mention, but a little bit of an impulse to cry. I might have started crying, but this time I just left, and actually, while I was driving to work, a thought came to me of where they could be, and lo and behold, that's where they were.
Okay, yeah, so now Judy's going to be quiet, and you see the little cards on the table? Those are called tools or spots. They're the little spot cards that we have. On one side with the big font, that's the spot that comes from his writing. You may take one that you say, oh, I like that one, that's fine. And now Judy's quiet, and you all are the panel. So if you see the difference between step 3 and step 4, or a tool that she could use, because we lose things sometimes, that's the event, raise your hand and I'll call on you. So, yes, Cece, you gotta speak loud though, okay?
Did you want me to read them?
Whatever you want.
Well, the impulse that Judy had to maybe stay home and not go to work and like furiously keep scratching around trying to find them. So Dr. Lowe's writing quote says, there are no uncontrollable impulses, only impulses we choose not to control.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else, please? Yeah, Sharon, stand up so that everybody can hear you.
Okay, I spot misplacing papers is very average, and she can endorse for working it down instead of working it up.
Right. Yes, Michael, please.
Yeah, I spot it's hard to be comfortable when I'm comfortable.
Yes. Anybody else? I'm gonna spot that it was a startle, like the barking dogs jumped out, like where are those papers? And so when we spot that we're in symptoms, we can spot we're in symptoms, reject, but to endorse for the will to effort, not the will to comfort. Anybody else have a spot or a tool that they might want to pick up and read it? It's fine. They all work. Yes, Nancy.
She can excuse the initial response that she had. That comes to us through faith. It's what we do with it. We have a choice after that.
Yeah, we have choices. Yeah, we have choices. You know, that temper blocks logic and reason, and so when we're worked up, we normally can't find those keys. We can't find that thing that we're looking for. When she became calm, in a good spot is calm begets calm and temper begets temper. Yeah, Sharon.
Yeah, Judy chose peace, order, and balance.
Yeah, thank you.
Calm.
Yeah, did you want to read yours?
Yeah, after she went through the process in number 4, peace is the food of life.
Yeah, peace is the food of life, and temper, look at this one. Right? That's a spot that we have this on our shirt. Peace over power.
It also says we all need a peaceful, balanced life. Excitement is only a want.
Right, we don't need that excitement. Before, that was exciting to us, but it's not good for our mental health. Okay, so now down at the bottom is the recap of the example. It's called the Big Five. And so, I think it's next slide. Oh, there's some more spots up on the slide. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you to do that. Okay, see? Courage to make a mistake. It's a triviality, right? Yeah, go ahead. Next slide. Oh, the Big Five's not up there? Okay, Big Five's on the paper. So on the paper. So we have angry temper, and angry temper is everything outside of us. So where do we see the angry temper in this example? Yeah, Sharon, please.
At the papers.
At the papers, where were they, right? What's a good spot that you can use when you have angry temper?
We drop the judgment for our own mental health.
Good. Let's move on to fearful temper. So angry temper is everything outside of us, but fearful temper is where Judy's responsible. The symptoms are coming from within. Where do we see the fearful temper? Yeah, Mike, please.
In the form of discouragement, there was some preoccupation of where they are with them.
Yeah.
And some worry.
Worry. And what's a good spot when we're suffering from fearful temper?
It's fate appointed. We didn't ask for it.
Right. Good. And fear is a belief, and beliefs can be changed. And then the next thing is we're a muscle method. So we either move our muscles or we control our muscles. And so where did we see where Judy controlled her muscles, where she did that would have been bad for her mental health? Anybody over here? Yes, Cece, please.
She stopped moving through the files.
Right. She controlled that impulse to keep working it up. They've got to be here. You know how many times we've dumped our purses out to find those keys that are still not in our purse, no matter how many times, right? She controlled that impulse. And a good spot for that is when we control our impulses, we have nothing to regret. And then the other thing, on the other side, is where did Judy move her muscles? By moving the muscles, she did something in action. So, where do we see muscle movement? Yeah, Nancy.
In commanding the muscles to give the example.
Commanding to do the example for all of us so we could all practice. You know, it's group-minded to all of us that we can practice the method because we're practicing in the meetings, but really what goes on outside of the meetings where we get our most relief. We get it in the meetings where we demonstrate, but in the meeting, outside of the meetings where we can really see the difference. And then there's sabotage, and sabotage isn't bad or wrong, but Dr. Lowe came up with a word that we wouldn't have an example if we didn't have any sabotage. So sabotage would be, anybody see the sabotage? Nancy?
She could perhaps be endorsing herself more.
Yeah, endorse for the will to effort, not the will to comfort. Right, an endorsed person is a secure person. So that's how an example is given. Usually in a meeting it would go for about 15 or so minutes. It's a little bit longer. But now I want to just take a couple questions. If we're still good on time. Okay, so we want to take a couple questions about what just happened. Like, what just happened? I remember the first time I heard an example, I'm like, that sounds so easy, but how am I going to do all this? So anybody have any questions for us?
Well, my concern is is the impulse. Once you start, it's like driving the car. How do you put the brakes on?
Right, so the method does help you with that. You start to retrain those thoughts from saying, okay, I can't, like last night, one of my sons was a little, you can fill in the blank. And I had that impulse to text him back, to tell him how wrong he was and how right I was. So we're retrained to think in a calmer way. Is this really worth it for me to tell him how it is? And so we call it trigger spotting, like we automatically start to use those tools right away when we're in symptoms. Because if I would have did that, then he has something to say, then I have something to say, and it just escalates.
I was just thinking, this is like de-escalating.
Right, exactly. Dr. Lowe was way before ahead of his time. Because I could prove how right I was, right? Because I know, yes, he was wrong, but it's not worth my mental health over a triviality. And he might think he's right too. He could have a list of why he thinks he's right? Okay, any other questions? Oh, come on, you have to have a couple questions. Yes?
Can these be used at night when you can't sleep?
Of course, yes. There's a whole chapter in Mental Health and Will Training. We brought some books here. Sleepless is a strong link with us about sleep. And so one of the things what I started to do when I first started practicing recovery, because I liked everything to be spotless and clean, and I could keep cleaning and it still was never clean enough. And so I could keep working until I thought everything was done. It still wasn't done. So 10 o'clock, the computer goes off, and I don't get out of bed until 6. And I don't start working before that because I could stay up all night and still wasn't. So it's kind of setting a balanced life is what he said. Like commanding the muscles to just say no. I'm going to sleep. Anybody want to say anything about sleep? Yeah, Cece?
Sleep, being asleep and being just calmly
Resting. He calls it motionless. He calls it motionless lying.
Lying still. So if I have experienced sleeplessness and used it as an example, and so I would spot it. It's average. A lot of people suffer from sleeplessness, but I'm lying peacefully.
Yeah, and eventually you will sleep. Yeah, Nancy wants to say something. I don't think you have to come up. Be careful, no falling.
Just gonna do that. I had a couple, a couple nights ago, I was having trouble going to sleep. And part of it was because of the racing thoughts of, let's see, I went to bed at such and such a time. If I sleep to so-and-so, I have this many hours sleep. Then when I see the clock, oh, now I'm only going to have this much. And I'm very worked up about the fact that my sleep amount of time was lessening and lessening as I lay there. And I thought, that's the future. I can't do anything about that. Just trust my basic functions to get an average amount, and one night is a triviality if I have less sleep.
Right. Yes. So to answer your question, yes, it works with sleep a lot because I could not sleep when I first came to recovery. Yeah. Yes. You, Brendan.
Where are you located?
Our main office is in Chicago. I happen to run the San Diego office. We're in Mission Hills, but we have Mission Valley. Mission Hills is in Mission Valley. But we are online. All of our meetings are online. We have a website. We have meetings. 50-some meetings are on Zoom. Like Judy said, we have 2 open community meetings. They're open. And San Diego, they're starting to slowly open up again. So, yeah.
Well, I'm following that up with, because a lot of times patients that come through the emergency room, it's almost like there's somebody in the home that escalated the person
Right.
to this point. So
Right.
it's almost like they both need help.
Right. You know what Dr. Lowe used to say, and it's so true too. Sometimes people will say they're bringing their kid. Is that right if I bring my kid to your meetings? Oh, of course, because usually it's 18 and above. But we do have a children's program. I'll have you change the slides in a minute. You can't really tell. It's not really the kid that needs the help, it's the parent. Or it's, it's the other way around, We also have meetings in Spanish. We also have, that's every Friday, and it's based out, I oversee that. And we have welcome meetings. Judy and I lead a welcome meeting to recovery. It goes at a much slower pace. On Tuesday nights, 6 p.m. Pacific. There's one if you would like to do it during the day on Wednesdays. It's in your bag. All this information is in your bag. You have a welcome packet. You have the difference between the 12 steps. You have what trivialities are. You have, what else is in there? What to expect in a meeting. Everything Judy talked about. Yeah, Sharon.
I have a question. If I want to go on a Zoom meeting, what's the website?
recoveryinternational.org. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
The Zoom meetings are great.
I like the Zoom meetings too. Yes, Cece.
You mentioned, one of the spots, which is, it's distressing but not dangerous. Could you
Yeah,
relate
so,
that to
yeah,
things in
a
everyday
lot of people,
life?
yeah. So a lot of times people will hear that spot first and say, that's the spot I heard at the meeting and I can use it when I'm in symptoms. It's distressing but not dangerous. Because we think everything is either all bad or all good. But if we could just see, is that really worth getting that upset about? Right? It's distressing but not dangerous. So the way I used to react to trivialities or to something in the house, my reaction was the same whether the kid spilled a glass of milk or there was a car accident. They didn't know what was really an emergency. Now they know what a triviality is, because I'm much calmer. Yeah. Anybody else have any other questions?
Do you have a copy of this?
You can have that, that's for you.
Wait a minute, something else. That, copy of that.
Oh, no, you have them in your welcome packet. I'll show you that when we're all done. Can you do the next slide? Okay, so we're gonna raffle off Better Mental Health when we do the 50-50, and that's for the newcomer, and that gives you all different kinds of information, spots, more spots, more tools, more little stories, and then peace versus power, power your mind, that's for the young person. So if you work in a church or a synagogue, we'd love to do a training for kids. I used to always say, can't we do it for younger people? Being bullied, and everything. This is a great program. It's our method, but it's geared with trivialities that they can really relate to, in the stories. And it's comic book style.
And and that's the first thing we take away is the phone. When they come to the emergency room, we take their phone away, and a lot of times they're ready to fight us.
Right. Right. I know. So this is if they have a chance to maybe go to a meeting, or we could come to your place and have a meeting, like a welcome meeting, we can talk later, okay, Brenda? Like an introduction to recovery.
Well, this would be something nice for them to have on hand. Do you sell these books?
I have some over here, yeah. We're not selling tonight, but we can talk later, okay? Okay. Next slide, please. You're doing, I hope you're endorsing for all your buttons, okay? So the first book Dr. Lowe wrote was Mental Health Through World Training. As you can see, it was in 1950. And then it's a lot of his stories of his patients and his case studies. And and all the tools come from all these books. Spots. The word spot and tool are interchangeable. Then he was recorded, and he would give lectures twice a week on Thursdays and on Saturdays. And he had the family come to be supportive. Can you imagine? Being supportive and saying, just snap out of it. I just think he called his patients his dear ones. So anyway, then after they were recorded, he would do the lectures and they recorded it, and then they were on, right, Nancy, tapes, right? Yes. Tapes and then records, and then they made a book, Manage Your Fears, Manage Your Angers. Peace versus Power in the Family. That's a really good book as well. when you become a member, a paid member of Recovery, you get selections for free on a PDF. The Wisdom of Dr. Lowe are little paragraphs that have references to all the different books. Like if you look at the table of contents and you might say, oh, I'm having some anger, and you can read all the different little paragraphs and then you can read the whole chapter in his other books. And then you saw the tool cards. You have them on the table we brought, and those are great to have around. People have them, like Allison told me today, she hung it up because she was having some symptoms. She chose one, and so what was the tool you used, Allison?
Something about discomfort.
When we bear discomfort, comfort will come, right? Good. Okay, good. Okay, next slide. Okay, so we're pretty active here in San Diego. So I sit on the a board of Community Research Foundation, which is a county program. Where is he? My friend I met earlier. A county program. Mental health systems. I speak all the time for the PERT team. If anybody doesn't know what the PERT teams, that's therapists and policemen that are trained how to talk kindly to somebody that is suffering. I'm involved with the suicide prevention, the access and crisis line. You can see them, I don't have to read them all. Nationwide, we're involved with NAMI. We just did the NAMI walk here. Guess what? We were in the newspaper, if anybody didn't see that article. If you want to, tomorrow Eric's here, if you want to have a copy of the article, it's right here, by a PDF and the video, it was April 16th. So if you want to have Eric send you, if you write down his email, write it down if you want, eric@recoveryinternational.org, and we'll send you the copy of the article. So that's the latest one there. Anybody have any questions about this slide? No. Okay. Next slide.
You said you were in More Magazine.
Oh, that's right. It's okay.
You
It's
gotta add
okay.
that one.
I gotta add that.
Yeah.
Okay. I was in More Magazine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
National Magazine.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So here's. Oh, on our website we have you can watch all different things of people telling their stories. They're brave enough to do that. How the 4-step method works, a newcomer meeting, and all that stuff. So whatever you need, we have lots. Our website is very interactive. Okay, any other questions?
Great job. And yours.
No more questions?
Oh, I probably could talk to you all night about this.
Oh, good. So ask another question, because they might be afraid to ask it. Yeah, Tina.
What about the big stuff?
You go to your therapist with
Okay.
that. But we're all trained to whittle it down.
Yeah.
So like if somebody comes to a meeting, because the example that Judy gave is big, but she whittled it down about the papers. You know, it was something, her mother had passed away and she needs those papers for the family members, for the trust. So that was whittled down without giving all that other stuff behind. Because we come into meetings with symptoms and we want to leave with less symptoms. And it's an extra tools in the toolbox, you know? Yeah, oh, Nancy wants to talk.
I'm a member of this organization here as well as Lisa. And we come here because we're Democrats and we're involved in the political system and what's going on. And an example, like you talked about the big things, but we only deal with trivial, might be if we see a politician on television that we really dislike greatly. And,
Or might be running again.
And
names not to be mentioned.
we proceed to work ourselves up in whatever manner we do with, racing hard, sweaty palms, and so on. But we learn that our supreme value is our love for mental health, that we cannot afford to have temper. We have choices. Might choose in that situation do something like remove themselves from a tense, provoking situation, leave the room, command the muscle to turn the TV off, go to the mute button, the wonderful mute button. And so that's how you can start with something that might be bigger, but make it into something smaller, and that's how we use this program.
Yeah, we get a lot of referrals from therapists. Yes, I can see you in the back.
So I have a question for you, how we could
school board member for a small school board, and, you know, there's a whole, everybody's seeing that mental health amongst the young people are declining. And this is the kind of training that would serve you throughout your whole life. I've always liked cognitive behavior therapy, and what's the other one, dialectic or whatever. Have you any examples of how this has been able to go into a classroom or an after-school program to allow children and young people to learn these habits before the wrong habits get too ingrained?
We are in school districts right now. We've worked in the jails. We've worked at, what was I gonna say? We've been in school districts and jails and LA County Jail. We'd love to be at your school district. Can we come and do a training there? We would love to do that.
That would be awesome.
And you know what? I always say this, that the Thanksgiving dinner table is a lot nicer in my family when some people agree one certain way and other people agree think a different way, that we have a peaceful meal as opposed to who's right and who's wrong, about who they're gonna vote for, why do you feel this way. And this method can, like to answer your question, Tina, those are some big things that we are stand here as being a Democrat. But those meals that we see each other maybe once a year, that we walk away being so angry, that my commitment is that where can I demonstrate recovery, meaning Recovery International, being calm and cultured, as opposed, pardon me? And wise, like Nancy taught me, wise. Right, and I wanted to tell you why the lifesavers are on the table. There's a little pun there, recovery saved my life. So that's a little thing about that. I mean, I don't mind ever sharing my story. I am from the Valley, I'm a Valley girl, and just hang on, I'm a Dodger fan. Okay, I know. However, they're coming to town. However, I ran a large catering company in the San Fernando Valley and did very large events until I couldn't get off the couch. And when people see us like this talking away and sharing our stories, it seems like, oh, this was easy. It takes courage to get well. So a lot of times in families, when you have one of your loved ones that is having a hard time getting off the couch, or isn't taking a shower, or isn't answering the phone, that was me. And my younger son, who's a doctor now, had to live with his father during some of that 1 year. And so, believe me, I wanted wellness, but it takes time. You can't run a mile before you first start to crawl. And sometimes you might just be able to just, Google or whatever, sit in the crib before you can keep going, right? Eric?
And also, Lisa mentioned that for anyone here that does want us to do panels as part of a different organization, come right over to our table, sign in on our sign-up sheet, and then we'll send you all that information. You can reach out to us that you want us to.
We can come to your work. Wouldn't this be good when people are fighting at work to have peace? Wouldn't that be nice? No gossip, right? Judgment. We all get along. What do you think? Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
And then there's one more.
Let's give them another hand. There's one more. RecoveryInternational.org. I googled
They
it
do a
today, and I
fantastic
found
job. And also, we'll be here if they want to come over to the table with any more information that they might want to put in their bags, okay?
Okay, but I still need my bag.
I'm gonna get it for you in a second.
Okay, it's time for announcements, and I imagine we have a lot of people that would love to speak before all of us. Start lining up over here, please. How'd you do on your sign-ups, Meryl? Okay.
These are people that are making concerns.
I got a fair number of people to help do the parade, but come on, folks, the poster party, it's a BYOB. Bring your own beverage, enjoy good company, and do some art with us for the parade. We're gonna be holding them up.
We'll bring it over.
Pardon?
Bring it over.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lauren Casares, and I'm a lifelong La Mason, and I'm proud to share that I am running for La Mesa City Council in 2024 to replace Vice Mayor Colin Parent, who has opted to run for Assembly. So I'm proud to share that I have not only been endorsed by Vice Mayor Parent, but I've also been endorsed by the Mayor of La Mesa, Dr. Marco Rapastathis, Councilmember Patricia Dillard, and our San Diego Councilmember from the Foothills, Raul Campillo, and other key community leaders in La Mesa and elected officials from surrounding cities. My platform is really simple: a clean and safe La Mesa. I want to make our Jewel of the Hills sparkle. I grew up near Ross, and I bought my first home in 2021 across the street from Costco. I'm a Mexican American, Gen Z, a staunch Democrat, and a proud member of the LGBTQIA+ community. Professionally, I work in environmental policy and small business advocacy at the San Diego Regional Chamber of Commerce. Prior to this role, I served as the Director of Scheduling and Administration for San Diego Maritime Gloria. I've been working in politics and public affairs for my entire career since age 17. I believe that business organizations and labor can, should, and must work together to make our region and our middle-class families flourish. I'm the community service representative for the East Area Caucus of the County Democratic Party. I was recently elected to serve on the board of San Diego Democrats for Equality. And additionally, I represent La Mesa at San Diego Community Power on the Community Advisory Committee, and I serve on the Community Police Oversight Board for the city. While we're 18 months out, I'm starting early to ensure that we elect quality Democrats and do not risk splitting the ticket in a crowded field. After Amy Riker inevitably loses the District 4 Supervisor special election, I do anticipate that she's going to go after the La Mesa City Council. She's actually neighbors with my parents. If it's not her, the Republicans will find someone who is equivalent, if not even further right than her. We cannot crowd the field and hand the seat to another Republican. I hope to earn the support of this fantastic club and be your next La Mesa City Council member, and I look forward to getting to know you all if I haven't yet. Thank you.
Good evening, fellow Democrats. I'm Brianna Costin. I was recently elected as the La Mesa Spring Valley School Board trustee, and I'm giving you guys a little update on our district. We've gotten some great things done in our first couple of months that I've been in office. We finally passed a state-compliant family health, aka sex ed, curriculum. We created an MOU with our teachers and classified staff unions to allow paraprofessionals to student teach while also retaining their paid positions with the district, which is super important for equity for future educators. We also approved a master lease at Spring Valley Academy for the site of the future Casa de Oro Library, and I look forward to working with the future District 4 Supervisor on seeing that to the finish line. I'm also here with a preview of what's to come. Our district announced at our last meeting that the board will be hearing a proposal to shift grade spans in our district. Currently, our elementary schools are TK, transitional kindergarten, through 6th grade, and our middle schools are either 7th and 8th grade, or some of them LMAC is 4 through 8, kind of, you know, different spans there. With TK coming to all of our elementary schools are impacted, and we need to move 6th grade up to all of the academies and middle schools.
Sorry, could you tell us what TK is?
Transitional kindergarten. Mm-hmm. So it's for 4th graders and preschool. So because of this shift, LMAC will no longer house 4th and 5th grade, and STEAM will no longer house 5th grade. And I can talk to you guys more afterwards if you guys have any questions on that. But we're holding a public hearing on May 9th at our next board meeting to discuss some of this. We're also going to be holding a public hearing at our next meeting on May 9th to hear from families and neighbors about the impact social media has on the mental health of our youth. This is especially pertinent since many districts across the county are joining a mass action lawsuit against the social media companies regarding negative impacts their products have on the youth. Not done yet. Call to action. I do have a call to action tonight. I was trying to get on the May agenda for a resolution to acknowledge June as Pride Month and to acknowledge Juneteenth. I was also trying to bring forward to the board a resolution to fly the pride flag at the district office. And unfortunately, I was blocked not only by the Superintendent Feliciano, but Board President McCrae, who was on my slate this last election. Our board policies are written in such a way that the two of them are the only ones allowed to put items on the agenda. And it's especially disappointing that Board President McCrae chose to side with the superintendent's desire for these items not to come before our board, as she's acting in a way that does not uphold our democratic values and not even discussing these items. As states and schools across the country are trying to ban curriculum in school books, it's important to show our students and staff they have a safe place in our community. It is also important for our district to celebrate and recognize how diverse our La Mesa Spring Valley community is. And so I'm asking you here today to show up at our May 9th meeting next Tuesday and speak about the importance of supporting diversity in our communities, including our LGBTQIA+ youth and staff. Thank you.
Thank you for that important update. I think an important thing to be conscious of this month, which is Mental Health Awareness Month, is that we need to be inclusive of all diversity in our communities, and that's an important part of supporting other people's mental health. So thank you for that important note on supporting the LGBT community. Hi everyone, my name is Nadia Farjoud and I'm running for the Grossmont Healthcare District Zone 3. I'm the daughter of a nutritionist and an immigrant small business owner who believes that East County deserves excellent healthcare. As an attorney, I focus most of my practice on healthcare and learned just how difficult it is to keep the cost of healthcare down for patients and how federal and state policies affect hospitals and care. One of the cases that I'm most proud of that I've worked on as an attorney is representing the University of California system and investigating gynecologists accused of and then found to have committed misconduct with a number of women at UCLA health facilities for improper touching and sexual harassment. And that experience that I bring in my healthcare litigation background and also investigations is something I'd like to bring to the district board. For those not familiar about what the Grossmont Healthcare District does, its mission is to provide healthcare and wellness programs to East County, from children to seniors and everyone in between, and also to support the Sharp Grossmont Hospital in providing services to community members and making sure that their needs are met. Something that's really important to me and that I'll be advocating for in this race is to support the union workers at the Sharp Grossmont Hospital. As some of you might have seen recently in the paper, yes, I think that's worth a round of applause. That 1,500 new healthcare workers were unionized there, and there's actually been a challenge to it recently. So they currently can't access their union benefits because a challenge has been made to the National Labor Relations Board. But I think it's incredibly important that those who take care of the health and wellness of our communities also get our support and make sure that they have good wages and benefits and can continue to be sustained in this work. I would be honored to earn your support in this race so we can ensure that we have a strong Democratic voice in the room, working for supporting seniors, healthcare workers, and youth and families all across the county. Again, my name is Nadia Farjoud, and I'm running for the Grossmont Healthcare District Zone 3. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Seth Smith. I am running for Lemon Grove City Council in 2024. I currently work as full-time as an architectural designer, and I am the chairperson of Lemon Grove's planning board. And in that vein, what I'd like to do with our campaign is support housing policies that help bring in housing that is affordable to people who work in La Mesa, who work in Lemon Grove, who live and play and spend their time here. I want to bring programs in that are going to help with our those who are unsheltered in our community to help bring them into housing that we can start to provide in the East County, in Lemon Grove, and in La Mesa. And identify solutions for repairing and maintaining our infrastructure so that we can continue to attract those projects and continue to grow and invest in our communities. And another reason I'm running for city council is I don't believe in a Lemon Grove or a La Mesa for that matter where our elected leaders will sit at the dais and insult the people sitting next to them. It's not right. It's not something we need to be doing. But what I do believe in is I believe in communities. I believe in a Lemon Grove where people get up early on a Thursday morning and they come out and they pick up trash on Broadway in Lemon Grove in our community. People who will take their Friday evenings and pack food to deliver the next morning to people who are in desperate need of it. I believe that as a community we can work together to do those things, to accomplish that compassionate care for our community. And I believe when we do these things, we uplift all of East County. We'll uplift Lemon Grove, we can uplift La Mesa, and working together, we can continue to make East County even greater. Now, again, I'm Seth Smith. I am running for Lemon Grove City Council in 2024, and I hope to have your support in that race. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Doug Case, and I am the Political Affairs Director for State Senate President Pro Tem Tony Atkins. And I want to give you a brief legislative update. April is the time when bills are going through their first policy committees, and I want to talk a little bit about a couple of the bills that the Senator has authored this term. The first one you may have seen mentioned in the newspaper, and that is SB 519, which is the Promoting Safety and Transparent Oversight of County Jails. It would do several things. It would allow the Board of Supervisors to create their own Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation if the Sheriff's Department has been unresponsive in addressing issues in the jails. Secondly, it would require the Sheriff to publicly release all investigations of in-custody deaths, and it would expand the mission of the Board of State and Community Corrections to give them more control over safety in our county detention facilities. There are a couple of bills relating to reproductive justice. First is SB 385, which would allow physician assistants to be able to perform first trimester abortions if they fulfill a certain criteria. This is similar to a bill she did last year that was successful, that did a similar thing for nurse practitioners and certified midwives. And another really important bill is SB 487, and this bill would protect California healthcare providers who perform abortion services or gender-affirming care services to those from out of state, either those who come to California for services or they go to another state to perform the services. In many cases, they can lose their license in another state or face other sanctions, and this would preclude the state of California from recognizing or imposing action regarding those sanctions. And finally is SB 447, which is a bridge project which stands for Building and Reinforcing Inclusive, Diverse, Gender-Supported Equality. Basically what this is to replace California's current ban on state travel to states that have LGBTQ plus policies. That policy has been ineffective. In fact, currently there are 23 states that have such policies, and there have been a lot of unintended consequences of that policy. So what it does is replace it with a program that is basically a marketing program that is aimed toward the red states and is to try to go into those states with a marketing campaign to try to change the hearts and minds of the people who live in those states. And so those are some of the bills that she's working on. I look forward to coming back soon and giving you an update. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Debbie Jessison. I'm 4 months late. Thanking you all for your support in my election last November for the governing board of Gross-Mount-Cuyamaca Community College District. Thank you so much. I am still the president of the board, which I am very honored to serve as. I want you to know that in our next cycle, that's next election cycle, we have 2 of our seats that are going to be up for re-election, and that is Julie Shore and Elena Adams. Julie Shore lives in the, represents the Lakeside Santee area, and Elena Adams represents El Cajon. So if you know anyone in those areas, these are the 2 that we would like to have re-elected onto our board. I know Julie Shore is going to be coming to speak to you at some point in the near future, and I'm going to encourage Elena Adams to come and speak as well. During my campaign, I ran on dual enrollment, and I wanted to give you a little bit of an update on that. We had a joint board meeting along with Rosemont Union High School District just last week in regards to dual enrollment. And it's been quite a struggle, and for the next school year, we foresee more of a struggle. And so because of the election cycle, I wanted to make sure that you all are informed ahead of time. You might hear people say, well, dual enrollment is bad because it's taking teachers' positions away with community college teachers. You might hear people say that, that the community colleges are trying to run the high schools. I just want to let you know that we, in our contract with Rosemont Union High School District, each high school gets to decide what classes they would like for dual enrollment. We don't have that say. The high schools have control over that. The board decided to put in a resolution, and this is the difficult part, where each high school can only have 2 dual enrollment classes, which means that it's limiting, limiting classes for students, which I think is a detriment. It's affecting our students' education, correct? And also, the other limitation is that the Grossman Union High School District teachers are the only teachers allowed to teach the dual enrollment classes. The issue with that is that, for example, this is a really good example where there's a French 3 class that's needed over at Granite Hills for next year, and we both sides have approved to have that class go, except for Grossmont Union High School District will not allow a community college instructor just to teach that one class. And in the community college district, we always have our positions filled before the end of the semester, so we're hoping that they will allow us to service that one class for the spring, but we're not sure. Out of the 30 classes that are supposed to be given in the next school year, we have at least 7 classes that are not covered, which means that there's going to be less than 25 classes offered for our East County schools. What does that mean? Well, I just want to let you know that Helix High School itself has 57 plus classes, dual enrollment classes for their students, serving over 1,000 students. And the teacher population, half of their teachers teach the dual enrollment classes, and half of our community college teachers do, and usually they're only there for one period. And so, it's not financially feasible for a high school district to just hire a teacher for one class at one high school, which is one of the reasons why we offer our community college teachers to teach that one class. I also want to let you know that San Diego Unified School District has over 326 dual enrollment classes this school year and accommodates approximately 4,000 students. We here in East County deserve the same. We should have a similar program for our students so that they can be just as educated and be prepared for the workforce after high school. We also want, thank you. The other thing we have to also realize is that 60% of our workforce now today into 2023 requires more than a high school diploma. And by offering dual enrollment classes for our high schoolers gives them a leg up when they graduate from high school, whether it's to continue their education at a community college or another trade school, or even going to a 4-year college. They have an advantage by taking dual enrollment classes during high school. I just wanted to let you know all of these things so that if at some point somebody's, that Cuyamaca College or Grossmont Cuyamaca College is trying to take over our high schools, that is not true. Now you know some of the facts. If you need any more information, you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Once again, I am Debbie Jessison, President of the Grossmont Cuyamaca Community College District. Thank you so much.
Brenda Miller, Dr. Brenda Miller. I'm a candidate for the Grossmont Healthcare District Board of Directors, Zone 3. I live here in La Mesa, as you know. I'm on the board of the La Mesa Foothill Democratic Club as the VP for programming. And that's what you see coming each month. I'm part of bringing in the guest and brought in a pretty good guest this month, a very important healthcare issue that we're seeing and just doesn't seem to be going away, and we need to continue to work on that. I'm an educator. I teach at Cal State San Marcos. I teach the nursing students, senior nursing students. I teach the nursing students, senior nursing students. One group is graduating, the next group they have one more class, so I'm teaching them to transition from being students and to take on the professional world that they're coming into. And one thing that I teach is leadership and professional issues, and one important thing is that I teach the nurses that nurses have to be advocates, that we have to be at the table, we have to be spokespersons for our patients, for the community. We have to be able to we have to be able to what can I say? Address the needs of the community. And the big problems that we're seeing on a day-to-day basis, we're seeing the homelessness that are coming into the hospitals, and they have no place to go. That's an ongoing issue that has to be addressed. And nurses need to be at the table, and they need to be able to help the hospitals address these issues. Hospitals have to, deal with what's called diagnostic related groups. That's an acronym of DRGs. This is, the days of going into the hospitals and staying there for, an extended period of time doesn't happen anymore. When a patient goes into the hospital, they consider, discharge planning starts from the day they go into the hospital. So you have to be able to start intervention with with patients from the time that they go into the hospital. So they've got major problems from homelessness, mental illness, drug and alcohol problems. And so the hospitals, we need to find places for these serious issues. The hospitals, they're building issues. No longer are the building that used to be. Hospitals is called value-based purchasing. Now hospitals it's a building that if the hospitals don't meet certain metrics, hospitals are losing money. That's why so many hospitals are closing. So being on the board, I've been in the clinical world where I've been at the bedside. I'm in the administrative side at this time. I still hear the voices of the employees, what their issues are. So I'm able to understand what's going on in at the real time with the workforce, and I still see what's going on the administrative side. So I feel that I can be a very a good voice for the board, or I could be a voice at the table on the board of directors. So I'm, again, Dr. Brenda Miller, RN, a candidate for the Grossmont Healthcare District Board of Directors, Zone 3, and I hope I can get your support and you'll vote for me. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Andrea Beth-Dassey. You're newly elected director to Helix Water District Board. Thank you for your support. I want to give a little bit of an update. This month starts my 6th year on the board.
In this time, I've had a lot of learning to do.
Wait, 6 years? You mean 6 months?
It's been a long 6 months. Thank you, Tina.
Sorry.
I did lose track of time there. Someone was paying attention. So, in this 6 months, I've been learning a lot about everything about water, everything about the water district, where our water comes from, the different agencies we intersect with on the local level, state level, and national levels, and how things are put together. We put together our new budget for our next fiscal year, which starts the end of May. And last week we finished our rate setting process for the next 4 years with very little protest from our customers, which was a relief to me. Right now, we're in the process of waiting to see what the San Diego County Water Authority will send out as their finally negotiated water rates for their next year, which actually starts in January. So it's a little difficult because we pass whatever rate increase they decide onto our customers, and we have to create our budget and our rates before we know what their rates will be. So they set a preliminary rate of a 14% increase, which was unacceptable to us, and it's unacceptable to all of you, I would think, as well. And it's been hard getting that to change. So one of the things Director Graysick and I did with the support of the rest of our board was send letters to several San Diego City Council members, asking them to exercise their influence on the 9 representatives San Diego has on the County Water Authority Board to vote down such a large increase and to do what they can to reduce it. Helix Water District has 2 representatives on that board. City of San Diego has more than any other of all of the other water districts on that board. So we're hoping that that will help to bring the change that we're looking to see. I serve District 2, but our water district serves all of the members of the area we serve, over 50,000 households, 277,000 people, in addition to providing water to the cities of Santee and Lakeside. We're in the process of building the East County Water Purification plant in Santee. I got to see some pictures of that in construction today. Hope to get a tour sometime soon. And if you have any questions or any concerns about what's happening with the water district, feel free to reach out to me. Andrea Beth Dansky. Thank you.
Okay, we are veering towards the end. I need somebody that didn't buy a lottery ticket to pull the numbers. Did not buy one. Get up here. Yeah.
What are we doing first, the 50-50 or the book?
You want to do the 50-50 first or the book first? Shout it out. Book. Okay. Alrighty. 0828628. All right. Okay, and now how much money? $58. $58. Right. 0828643.
You got it?
Woo! Oh, it was Richie, and he's donating it back to the club. Thank you, Richie. And next month, our meeting is on, help me out.
June 7th.
Yeah, well, I know the date. The topic, where'd Brenda go? Gun violence prevention, thank you. So we hope to see you again the first Wednesday of June, right here, as usual. Thank you, and please sign up with Meryl to bring a guest next month. We're adjourned at 8:33.